Hello you guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Eva, a mortgage professional talking all things finance. So in today's video we are focusing on home movers. So if you already own a house and you're looking to move, this is the video for you. I'm going to share with you my 5 tips on how to make it as smooth as possible. So make sure you watch until the end as I share with you my most important tip. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So my tip number 1 is to assess your current finances. And the reason I'm saying this is because when you took out your first mortgage, I bet your situation was slightly different. You may have not had any additional debt at that point. You know, if you were a first time buyer at that point, your circumstances would have evolved. I'm not saying that's a given, however, it's a high possibility. So you need to reassess your finances. Have you had any pay rises since your last mortgage? Have you taken out any new debt since your last mortgage? All of these things need to be taken into account to assess how much you can borrow going forward. As let's face it, if you're moving house, the chances are you're looking at somewhere that's a little bit more expensive. That might not be the case, however, in a lot of cases it is. So you need to be able to figure out whether you can actually comfortably afford it. So with that comes the fact that you should identify what your maximum budget is for your monthly repayment. So obviously you'll have a monthly repayment at the moment of a certain amount. So from there on, figure out how much extra you can potentially contribute to that amount. So if at the moment, let's say you're paying £1,000, but your absolute maximum could be £1,500 because you've got that £500 spare, then that's your maximum budget. £1,500 would be the maximum for your next mortgage. Knowing this up front will help you massively. Now my tip number 2 is to repay all of your non-mortgage debt, such as car finance, personal loans, overdrafts, credit cards, all of that. If you're lucky enough not to have any debt, then by all means move on to tip 3, as this one's not applicable. However, as a homeowner myself, I know that it's almost impossible, unless you've got a very high paying job, to own a house and do whatever you want to do to it without actually getting yourself into a little bit more debt. So most of you will probably have non-mortgage debt. So my biggest tip to you is to repay as much of it as you possibly can, just because that will then increase what you can afford on your new mortgage going forward. Number 3 is to have an emergency fund in place. If you don't already have one, you should definitely start building one. Now an emergency fund is normally where you have at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly outgoings or your monthly salary saved in a separate account for any emergencies. Now you're already a homeowner, so you know the things that can potentially go wrong with a house, but you've been living in your house for some time, right? So you most likely know what's about to go, what's already been repaired, etc, etc. However, when you're buying a new house, it's normally not as straightforward unless you get every single thing checked, which in itself can cost you a bit of money. So it's always important to have that emergency fund in place so that you don't then rely on additional debt. As I know a lot of people have credit cards as their emergency fund, which isn't ideal, because if anything does go wrong and you need to access that money with a credit card, you can end up paying a lot of interest. But if it's already in your savings, it's interest free. My tip number 4 is to check whether your existing mortgage is portable. Now this only really applies if you're looking to buy a new house within the fixed rate period of your existing mortgage. What porting your mortgage allows you to do is it allows you to move that mortgage onto your new property. Now if the new property requires a bigger mortgage, your lender can then give you that additional amount as a second mortgage. Now the benefit of this is the fact that if you're already in a fixed rate, normally if you want to repay that mortgage to take out a new one, you'll have to pay some sort of penalty. However, if you port it, it's usually penalty free, so obviously you're saving money that way. Now the thing to bear in mind with this one is that the second mortgage will be on a brand new deal, so it will have a different expiry date. Of course, if you're going for a fixed rate. With a variable rate, it could be a bit more flexible, so you might be able to bring it in line with your existing mortgage so that you can then remortgage at the full amount when the first mortgage is up for renewal. But ultimately the point here is the fact that if your mortgage is portable, you don't have to wait until that deal has expired before you can move house. So contact your lender to find out if that is a possibility. Alternatively, it will be in your mortgage offer. And if you'd like me to review that for you, just drop me an email. All my contact details are in the description box down below. And my final tip, and also in my eyes the most important one, is to contact a mortgage advisor. Just because you've already been through the process doesn't mean you should do the next one on your own. Contacting an independent mortgage advisor will allow you to explore all your options. They will be able to tell you whether your mortgage is portable, or if it isn't, what you should do. They will also have a look at the whole of market for you to determine the best deal for the new house. Or if you require a second mortgage with your existing lender, they'll also be able to deal with that for you. So I cannot stress this enough, contact a mortgage advisor. And also, if you went to an advisor with your first mortgage and they didn't quite explain the full process to you, try a different advisor, as I guarantee they'll tell you something that you probably weren't even aware of, and they'll hopefully be able to give you guidance on what the best solution for you is. Remember, a mortgage shouldn't be transactional. It should be an advice-based process. So make sure you are getting the advice element. So guys, these are my 5 tips for home movers. Of course, there are plenty more things that you should definitely think about. However, I'd say those are probably the most important ones. But as my last tip said, always consult a mortgage advisor, because ultimately everybody's circumstances are different. So you need a solution that's right for you, and they'll be able to talk you through the process, and they'll be able to talk you through the things that you require in order to purchase that next house. And if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact me. All my contact details are in the description box down below, and I'd love to hear from you guys. I do work with an independent mortgage advisor, and we do truly look after our clients. And even if it's just a general inquiry, always feel free to drop me an email. So with that being said, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys back on Friday with a brand new video. Bye guys!